This happened to my grandpa back in the 1970s when he was a medic in the Marine Corps. The base where he was stationed had to be evacuated due to a massive hurricane. Grandpa had to stay behind to care for two Marines in the sickbay that were too ill to leave. Outside, 90-mile-an-hour winds were battering the building, making a terrible sound. Grandpa was just hoping that the building would remain standing. So he focused on trying to keep the men alive with the limited resources he had, and once he stabilized them, all he could do was wait out the storm. At one point, he lay down from exhaustion on one of the cots, hoping to get a short nap. It was then that an imposing figure yelled his name and said, "You're in grave danger. You have to help me move these two men to the other room." Grandpa had never seen this man before, and he thought he was alone with the two sick men, so he was startled. The man identified himself as Major Anderson, and since he outranked Grandpa, Grandpa leapt to his feet and gave a salute. The two of them moved the sick men to the next room, and just as they did, a massive tree came crashing through the wall and onto the cots where the three men had just been laying. They'd have been killed had they not moved. Grandpa looked around to thank the man, but Major Anderson was nowhere to be found. The next day, once the storm settled down, Grandpa asked the sick men how it felt to have a major come and check on them. They both looked at him like he was crazy and said they didn't know what he was talking about. Grandpa said, "Major Anderson, he helped me move the two of you." But they both swore up and down that the three of them were the only ones there, but that they had heard Grandpa talking to himself. Later on, Grandpa found out that Major Anderson had been killed in the Vietnam War several years prior to that day. But before he went to war, he had been stationed at that barracks, so a ghost saved his life and the life of his fellow Marines.